Did you know that the key to turning life's heaviest burdens into your greatest sources of strength was discovered more than 2,000 years ago? Imagine moving through chaos, pressure, and disappointment with a kind of inner steadiness that nothing outside you can easily break. Not because life becomes easier, but because you become stronger, clearer, and far less ruled by fear, anger, or confusion. That may sound rare, almost impossible, but it is real. And it is exactly what Stoicism offers. Born in the busy streets, public squares, and political turbulence of ancient Greece and Rome, this philosophy was never meant to remain trapped in old books. It was built for real life, for uncertainty, for loss, for pressure, for difficult people, for painful setbacks, for the quiet battles we fight inside ourselves. Stoicism teaches a simple but life-changing truth. You cannot control everything that happens. You cannot control other people's opinions, sudden setbacks, bad timing, or every twist of fate. But you can control the meaning you give those events, the attitude you bring to them, and the actions you choose next. And in a world filled with noise, comparison, anxiety, and endless distraction, that kind of wisdom feels less like an old philosophy and more like a survival skill. But Stoicism is not just about thinking differently. It is about living differently. It is not the suppression of emotion. It is the discipline of understanding emotion without becoming its prisoner. It is about remaining steady when life shakes you. It is about choosing purpose over impulse, clarity over chaos, and character over comfort. So if you have been feeling overwhelmed, stressed, stuck, discouraged, or simply tired of being pulled around by everything happening outside you, you are in the right place. Today, we are diving into 12 timeless principles from Stoic philosophy that can transform not only how you think, but how you live. These are not abstract theories from dusty shelves. These are practical tools for modern life. Tools to help you handle stress with more calm, make decisions with more clarity, and find peace even when life refuses to slow down. The same principles that helped a Roman emperor lead through crisis, betrayal, and uncertainty can help you navigate a hard morning, a broken relationship, a season of doubt, or a painful setback that seems impossible to understand. That is what makes this wisdom timeless. Human nature has not changed as much as we think. We still fear loss. We still chase approval. We still overthink, compare, react, and search for meaning. And Stoicism still speaks directly to all of it. If this is the kind of wisdom you want more of, subscribe to Stoic Ocean and turn on the notification bell. Because sometimes one idea, heard at the right moment, can change the direction of an entire life. And stay with me until the end, because each principle we explore today is another step toward becoming calmer, stronger, wiser, and more at peace within yourself. Let's begin. Principle 1. Focus on what you can control. Have you ever felt your peace collapse over something you never had the power to change? A traffic jam, a rude message, bad weather, a delayed opportunity, a comment online from someone who does not even truly know you. It happens every single day. So much of human suffering comes from fighting what was never ours to command. And this is where Stoicism offers one of its most liberating lessons. Epictetus once said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Think about how much of life changes when you truly understand that. Traffic, bad weather, other people's moods, unexpected bills, public opinion, delays, mistakes from others. These things exist outside your control. You can resist them, complain about them, replay them endlessly. But none of that gives you power. What gives you power is your response. Take a traffic jam. You are late. The cars are not moving. Your chest tightens. Your mind spirals. You can spend those minutes feeding your anger, blaming the world, and exhausting yourself over what will not change. Or you can breathe, accept reality, and choose a better response. You can use that same moment to calm your mind, listen to something useful, or simply sit without adding more stress to what is already difficult. The traffic stays the same. But your inner state does not have to, and that difference matters more than most people realize. The same is true on social media. You see someone else's promotion, vacation, perfect body, perfect relationship, or polished success story, and suddenly your own life feels smaller. But pause for a moment. Is their life within your control? No. What is within your control is whether you let comparison poison your peace. You can keep scrolling and keep suffering. Or you can close the app, return to your life, and invest your attention where it actually has power. Because every minute spent obsessing over someone else's highlight reel is a minute you did not spend building your own real life. And attention is one of the most valuable things you own. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That is the practice. Not controlling the world, controlling your participation in unnecessary suffering. So the next time something disturbs you, ask yourself one simple question. Is this within my control? If the answer is no, release your grip. If the answer is yes, act with clarity. Bring your energy back to your thoughts, your choices, your conduct, and your next step. This is not easy. It takes practice, but the more often you do it, the more peace you recover. And little by little, you stop being a prisoner of circumstance and start becoming the master of your response. Principle 2. Embrace obstacles as opportunities. Most people see an obstacle and immediately think, "This is in my way." The Stoic sees an obstacle and asks, "What is this here to teach me?" That shift alone can change an entire life. Because obstacles do more than block our path. They reveal us. They show us where we are impatient, fragile, fearful, undisciplined, or too dependent on life going according to plan. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the obstacle is not always the interruption of your growth. Very often, it is the path to your growth. Think about rejection. You apply for jobs, put yourself forward, and hear nothing back. Or worse, you get rejected again and again. At first, it feels personal. It bruises your confidence. It makes you question your worth. But if you step back, rejection can become useful information. Maybe a skill needs sharpening. Maybe your approach needs adjustment. Maybe your patience needs strengthening. The pain is real, but so is the lesson. And if you learn from it, the rejection did not only wound you, it trained you. History is full of this truth. Thomas Edison failed countless times before creating the light bulb. What others called failure, he treated as discovery. Every failed attempt eliminated one more path that would not work. That is a Stoic mindset. Not pretending failure feels good, but refusing to let failure be meaningless. The same principle applies to conflict. A difficult conversation, a misunderstanding, a betrayal, a clash of personalities. None of these feel pleasant, but they can teach you patience, self-command, clearer communication, and the humility to see that sometimes the situation exposes not only the faults of others, but your own. That is growth, not avoiding friction, but becoming wiser through it. So when life places something hard in front of you, do not only ask, "How do I get past this?" Also ask, "What is this trying to build inside me?" More patience, more courage, more skill, more resilience, more self-awareness. Obstacles are not always punishments. Very often, they are assignments. And when you meet them with the right mindset, they stop being mere barriers and start becoming the training ground for a stronger, wiser, more capable self. Principle 3. Live in the present moment. One of the saddest ways to lose your life is not through death, but through absence. To be physically present, but mentally elsewhere. To sit at the table but not taste the meal. To hear someone speak but not truly listen. To move through your own days with your mind, trapped in yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's fears. This is how many people live. Always remembering. Always anticipating. Rarely arriving. And yet, life only happens here. in this breath, in this conversation, in this ordinary moment we are so often in a hurry to escape. Marcus Aurelius said, "Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." That is not just beautiful advice. It is practical wisdom, because the present is the only place where you can act, love, notice, choose, change, or fully live. And still, so many of us keep missing it. How often have you sat across from someone you care about while your hand reaches for your phone? How often have you stood beside your child, your partner, or your friend while your mind is somewhere else, replaying work, an old argument, or a problem that does not even exist yet? And the painful truth is this: those moments pass, the laugh, the glance, the warmth, the small memory that could have become part of your life. Gone. There is no replay button for real presence. You cannot scroll back to recover the moment you failed to inhabit. That is the hidden cost of distraction, not just less focus, less life. So how do we return to the present? Through attention, through simple, deliberate mindfulness. When you eat, taste your food. When you walk, feel the ground beneath your feet. When someone speaks, listen to understand, not merely to reply. When your mind wanders, gently bring it back, again. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." How much peace would return to your life if you stopped demanding that tomorrow guarantee your safety before you allow yourself to be present today? Living in the present does not mean ignoring the future. It means refusing to abandon today in service of a tomorrow that has not arrived. It means learning from the past without living there, planning for the future without kneeling to it. And when you learn that balance, you begin to experience something rare: a quieter mind, a fuller life, a deeper gratitude for what is here before it disappears. Because this moment, however ordinary it seems, is your life. And the more fully you return to it, the more truly you begin to live. Principle 4. Build self-discipline. Most people think self-discipline means restriction, rigidity, or punishment. They imagine a joyless life governed by rules, denial, and constant pressure. But true discipline is not a cage. It is a form of self-respect. It is the ability to choose what matters most over what feels good for a moment. It is saying yes to the life you truly want by learning when to say no to the impulses that keep weakening you. That is not punishment, that is power. Because without discipline, your moods decide. Your cravings decide. Your distractions decide. Your excuses decide. And that is not freedom. That is dependence in disguise. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That strength is built every time you resist what pulls you away from who you want to become. Every time you keep your word to yourself. Every time you choose the harder right instead of the easier wrong. Self-discipline appears in ordinary moments. Waking up when you said you would. Saving money instead of chasing another impulse purchase. Turning off your phone so you can focus. Going for the walk. Starting the workout. Sitting down to do the work before motivation arrives. These actions may look small, but they are not small. They are evidence. Evidence that your values are becoming real. Seneca reminds us that true freedom comes from mastering our desires instead of being mastered by them. And one of the best ways to begin is very simple. Use the 5-minute rule. When you feel resistance, do not ask yourself to finish everything. Just begin. Give the task 5 honest minutes. Read for 5 minutes. Write for 5 minutes. Clean for 5 minutes. Exercise for 5 minutes. Because the hardest part of discipline is rarely the work itself. It is the crossing over from resistance to action. Once you begin, the mind often settles. The excuses lose force. Momentum appears. That is why the hardest part of going to the gym is often not the workout. It is putting on your shoes. It is opening the door. It is beginning. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly." And that is exactly how discipline grows. Quietly, repeatedly, without applause. Not in one dramatic decision, but in 100 small acts of self-command. You do not become disciplined overnight. You become disciplined every time you stop negotiating with what you know must be done. So do not wait to feel ready. Start small. Start imperfectly. Start today. Because discipline is not about becoming harsh. It is about becoming trustworthy to yourself. And when that happens, your confidence deepens, your character strengthens, and your life begins to move in the direction you have long known it should. Principle 5. Develop emotional resilience. There are moments when one sentence, one disappointment, one betrayal, or one unexpected setback can shake your entire inner world. A message arrives. Your chest tightens. Someone criticizes you. Anger rises instantly. Something does not go the way you hoped, and suddenly your mind fills with frustration, fear, or sadness. This is a part of being human. The goal is not to feel nothing. The goal is not to be ruled by everything you feel. That is where emotional resilience begins. It is the ability to feel deeply without collapsing inward, to acknowledge pain without becoming its servant, to face emotional storms without allowing them to define your identity or control your next action. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That is the heart of emotional resilience, not controlling every feeling that rises within you, but refusing to let every feeling become your master. Life will still wound you. Disappointment will still come. People will still misunderstand you. Loss will still shake you. The Stoic promise is not immunity. It is steadiness. It is the ability to remain inwardly grounded, even when your emotions arrive like a storm. Seneca understood this well. He taught that hardship does not simply hurt us. It reveals us. It shows us where we are fragile, where we are reactive, and where we still need to grow stronger. If we meet our pain with patience instead of panic, it can teach us far more than comfort ever could. So, how do we build this kind of emotional strength? It begins with self-awareness. You cannot guide what you do not notice. The moment you become aware of what you are feeling, without instantly obeying it, a space begins to open. And in that space, wisdom has a chance to enter. One simple practice can help you here. The next time a strong emotion rises, pause for 10 seconds. Do not speak yet. Do not send the message. Do not make the decision. Just pause. Breathe slowly. Then ask yourself, will this response serve my peace, my dignity, and my long-term well-being? Or am I about to hand control of this moment to anger, fear, or wounded pride? That tiny pause can change everything. It gives your reason time to return. Think of the last time you sent an angry text and regretted it minutes later. Now imagine you had waited just 10 seconds before pressing send. The message written after the pause would likely be calmer, clearer, and far less destructive. That is resilience in practice. Not pretending you feel nothing, but choosing not to become the worst version of yourself in the heat of a feeling. And when emotions do hit hard, start here. First, allow yourself to feel. Do not deny the anger, the sadness, the disappointment, or the fear. But do not worship it either. Acknowledge it. Then step back and ask, what triggered this? What story am I telling myself? What part of me feels threatened, ignored, or wounded? This kind of reflection turns pain into self-knowledge. It helps you see your emotional patterns more clearly, so you are no longer surprised by them every time they appear. And build a few steady habits that help you return to yourself. Write your thoughts down. Take a walk before reacting. Speak with someone wise. Sit in silence. Breathe deeply until the wave passes. These are not small things. They are ways of protecting your mind from becoming a battlefield every time life becomes difficult. Emotional resilience does not mean never feeling hurt. It means feeling deeply without losing your center. It means riding the wave without letting it drag you under. And every time you choose a calmer, wiser response, you become a little stronger than you were before. Principle 6. Memento Mori. Remember, you will die. Now, before this sounds too dark, stay with me. This is not a philosophy of despair. It is a philosophy of awakening. The Stoics reflected on death not to become afraid, but to become clear. Because when you remember that your time is limited, you stop living as if your days are endless and disposable. You begin to see life for what it really is. Brief, fragile, precious. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." That is not morbid. It is clarifying. It cuts through illusion. It strips away the trivial. It reminds you that life is too short to waste on petty grudges, constant delay, performing for others, or chasing things that do not matter. Seneca also warned us about the shortness of life. Not because life itself is always short, but because we waste so much of it. We postpone what matters. We delay the conversation. We bury the dream. We assume there will be time later. And often, that assumption quietly steals an entire life. Steve Jobs once said, "Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life." That is exactly why this principle matters. When death becomes real, life becomes urgent. Not frantic, urgent. The argument you keep replaying suddenly feels small. The grudge you have carried for years starts to look heavy and unnecessary. The fear of looking foolish loses some of its power, and the things you truly care about become impossible to ignore. You stop delaying what your soul has been asking for. You begin the work, you make the call, you say the truth, you forgive, you show up. You live more honestly. That is the gift of Memento Mori. It burns away what is false and leaves behind what is real. So think for a moment. What have you been postponing as if you had all the time in the world? A passion? A hard decision? A necessary goodbye? A long overdue apology? A life you know you were meant to begin? Remembering death does not diminish life. It deepens it. It teaches you to love more openly, to waste less time, to cherish honesty, ordinary moments, and to stop spending your days on what is hollow. So do not use Memento Mori as a reason to fear the end. Use it as a reason to stop neglecting the middle, to live with purpose, to speak with sincerity, to love while you can, to become fully present before your time slips quietly away. If this principle has stirred something in you, tell me in the comments which one has spoken to you most so far. And if someone you care about needs to hear this, share the video with them. Sometimes a single truth heard at the right time can shift an entire life. Let's keep going. Principle 7. Practice gratitude. Gratitude sounds simple, and that is exactly why people underestimate it. Most people think gratitude is just feeling thankful when life goes well. But Stoic gratitude goes much deeper than that. It is the discipline of noticing what is still good, still meaningful, and still beautiful, even when life is imperfect. It is choosing not to measure your entire existence by what is missing, because the mind, when left unchecked, always drifts toward lack, toward comparison, toward complaint, toward the next desire. And that is how peace disappears. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." That is not a small thought. That is a complete reorientation of attention. To wake up and remember that life itself is already a gift changes the way you move through the day. Seneca warned that desire can trap us, always wanting more, always chasing farther, always postponing contentment until one more thing is gained. But a person who cannot appreciate what they already have will never feel rich, no matter how much they collect. That is why gratitude matters so much. It protects you from becoming a slave to endless dissatisfaction. And it begins with practice. Each day, take a quiet moment to name 3 things you are grateful for. Not grand things, real things. A warm drink, a working body, a peaceful morning, a friend's voice, a lesson learned, a meal on the table, a little more wisdom than you had yesterday. The mind changes through repetition. What you consistently notice, you strengthen. And modern research reflects this too. People who practice gratitude regularly often report less anxiety, better sleep, and a more hopeful view of life. One study found that people who kept a gratitude journal for 21 days felt noticeably happier and more optimistic. But even without studies, most of us already know this truth intuitively. A grateful mind is a calmer mind, and gratitude is not only for pleasant moments. One of the deepest forms of gratitude is learning to ask, even in difficulty, what is this teaching me? Not because pain is pleasant, but because even hardship can carry instruction, perspective, and hidden strength. Gratitude does not mean denying pain. It means refusing to be blind to what still remains good. It also changes the way you relate to others. When you express appreciation, relationships deepen. A sincere thank you, spoken honestly, can soften distance, build trust, and remind people that they matter. So let gratitude become part of the way you see. Notice the small blessings, honor the ordinary gifts, stop racing past what is already enough. Because it is not happiness that always leads to gratitude. Very often, it is gratitude that quietly teaches us how to be happy. Principle 8. Focus on personal excellence. The Stoics believed that the highest good was not pleasure, status, or applause. It was virtue, character, the quiet discipline of becoming the kind of person you can respect when no one is watching. That is personal excellence, not perfection, not image, not performance, but alignment. The alignment between what you admire and how you actually live. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That line cuts through so much noise, because many people spend years talking about values, posting about values, admiring values, and surrounding themselves with the language of virtue, while avoiding the harder work of embodying it. Personal excellence begins when admiration becomes practice. When honesty is not just praised, but lived. When courage is not just quoted, but chosen. When integrity is not a performance for others, but a standard you keep for yourself. That is where this principle becomes deeply personal. It asks you, what kind of person are you becoming through your daily choices? Not your intentions, your choices. Because a life is built there. In the repeated habits, the private decisions, the small moments where character is either strengthened or compromised. And growth does not always require dramatic reinvention. Sometimes it begins with becoming just 1% better each day. A little more patient, a little more honest, a little more disciplined, a little less reactive, a little less afraid to do what you know is right. That small improvement looks insignificant in a single day. But over time, it compounds into a very different human being. Read one more page. Speak one more truth. Choose one better habit. Take one better action. Correct one bad pattern. This is how excellence grows, not through occasional intensity, but through consistent alignment. And unlike ambition, which often depends on comparison, personal excellence is inwardly measured. It is not about outshining others. It is about outgrowing the version of yourself that keeps settling for less than your values require. It also means setting your own standards, instead of borrowing them from the crowd. Because if society defines excellence for you, you may spend years becoming impressive, while failing to become good. The Stoic asks a different question. Not, how admired am I? But, how well am I living? That question changes everything. So do not chase the image of greatness. Pursue the substance of it. Become someone whose life is shaped by honesty, self-command, courage, discipline, and depth. That is personal excellence, not a finish line, a daily standard, a quiet devotion to becoming the kind of person your future self will be grateful you chose to become. Principle 9. Stop caring about others' opinions. One of the quietest prisons in human life is the need to be approved of. So many people are not truly living, they are performing, adjusting their words, their choices, their appearance, their dreams, and even their beliefs to avoid criticism or earn acceptance. And in doing so, they slowly lose touch with themselves. This is especially true in a world shaped by social media, where attention is mistaken for worth, and a stranger's reaction can disturb your peace for hours. But Stoicism offers a liberating truth. Your worth does not increase when others praise you, and it does not decrease when they misunderstand you. Your worth is shaped by how you live, how you think, and whether you remain true to what you know is right. Marcus Aurelius observed, "I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinions of others." That is the paradox. We live inside our own soul, yet we let outsiders become judges of our peace. Think about how often you have stayed silent when you wanted to speak honestly. How many times you have changed direction because you feared how it might look. How often you have worn a version of yourself designed to be accepted, rather than one that felt true. That is exhausting. And worse, it leads to a life that may look approved of, but does not feel fully yours. Seneca taught that true contentment comes from within, not from applause, reputation, or the unstable approval of the crowd. And Epictetus reminded us that other people's opinions exist outside our control. If that is true, why hand them so much authority over your life? So how do you begin to care less? Start by remembering this. You are the author of your life story, not the audience, not the critics, not the people projecting their fears, preferences, and limitations onto you. You then ask yourself a harder question. Whose life am I living? Are my choices truly mine? Or are they shaped by the fear of disappointing people who will never bear the cost of my regret? That kind of reflection can wake you up. And here is a simple tool. The next time someone's opinion starts to disturb you, ask, will this person's opinion matter in 5 years? Will it shape my character, my peace, or the truth of who I am? Most of the time, the answer is no. And that perspective can free you from a surprising amount of unnecessary suffering. Because the moment you stop needing constant approval, a different kind of freedom begins. Not arrogance, not coldness, just inner independence. The strength to live honestly without turning every choice into a performance for other people. And that is where real peace begins to return. Being true to yourself does not mean being flawless. It means no longer pretending. It means being honest about your weaknesses, your unfinished parts, your mistakes, and your growth. Perfection is not the standard. Integrity is. You are allowed to be a work in progress. You are allowed to learn, to fail, to adjust, and to become wiser through experience. That kind of honesty does not push the right people away. It reveals them. Because the people meant for your life are not drawn to your performance. They are drawn to what is real. And here is a simple perspective tool that helps immediately. When someone's opinion starts disturbing your peace, ask yourself, will this person's opinion matter in 5 years? Will it shape my character? Will it define my life? Will it still carry weight when this moment has passed? Most of the time, the answer is no, and that realization can free you from a surprising amount of unnecessary suffering. So stop measuring your worth by likes, approval, or applause. Measure it by your honesty, your choices, and your courage to live without betraying yourself. Your worth is not granted by the crowd. It is not increased by praise, and it is not diminished by misunderstanding. It is already yours. And the more faithfully you live from that truth, the more peaceful your life becomes. Principle 10. Accept change and go with the flow. One of the greatest causes of human suffering is this. We want life to stay still. We want people, circumstances, roles, and seasons to remain as they are. But life does not make that promise. Everything changes. And the more tightly you cling to what must evolve, the more pain you create for yourself. That is why learning to accept change is not weakness, it is wisdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you, woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs?" This is not passive surrender. It is deep cooperation with reality. It is the understanding that change is not an error in life. It is part of life. Seneca warned that attachment to present conditions often becomes the source of later suffering. Why? Because when we demand that something temporary remain permanent, we are asking life to be something it has never been. And life always answers that illusion with disappointment. Think about the caterpillar. To become a butterfly, it does not simply add wings. It dissolves. What it once was must break apart before something new can emerge. That is what change often feels like. Not graceful at first, not beautiful in the middle, more like confusion, loss, disruption, the collapse of a familiar identity. But some transformations do not feel like growth while they are happening. Sometimes what feels like life undoing you is actually life removing what no longer fits. And if you look back on your own life, you will probably find at least one moment that once felt like ruin, but later revealed itself as redirection. A breakup that forced you to meet yourself again. A job loss that pushed you toward more meaningful work. A failure that stripped away your pride and taught you what success never could. Epictetus reminds us to distinguish between what we control and what we do not. We cannot stop change, but we can decide how we meet it. With bitterness or maturity, with resistance or curiosity, with panic or steadiness. So how do we grow more accepting of change? First, acknowledge that it is inevitable. Everything moves. Seasons change. People leave. Bodies age. Roles shift. Dreams evolve. To resist that reality is to resist life itself. Second, practice presence. When you stop grasping at every moment, you begin to enjoy it more honestly. Mindfulness teaches you to appreciate what is here without demanding that it stay forever. That is a quieter and wiser way to live. Third, look for the lesson inside the shift. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this asking of me?" What strength must I build now? What illusion must I release? What part of me is being invited to grow? That is how change becomes not just something to endure, but something to learn from. So do not think of acceptance as drifting aimlessly. It is not going numb. It is not giving up. It is the strength to remain inwardly balanced while life keeps moving. And when you learn to move with change, instead of fighting every current, you suffer less, adapt faster, and become far more capable of meeting life as it truly is. Principle 11. Practice compassion and empathy. The Stoics understood something many people forget. We do not live alone. We live among others. And no matter how different our lives may seem, we are all vulnerable to pain, fear, loss, confusion, and struggle. That is why compassion matters. Not because it sounds nice, because it keeps your humanity intact. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that human beings are made for cooperation. He wrote, "What brings no benefit to the hive brings none to the bee." In other words, your life is not separate from the lives around you. The way you treat people shapes the world you also have to live in. Seneca believed that kindness and generosity were not optional extras, but expressions of good character. And he also understood something deeper. People often act badly because they are afraid, ignorant, wounded, or lost. This does not mean harmful behavior should be excused, but it does mean that understanding someone's inner struggle can reduce your bitterness. Epictetus taught that before judging people, we should try to understand how they see things. Why? Because when you understand that every person is acting from their own mind, their own wounds, their own limitation, you become less shocked by human weakness and less personally offended by every flaw you encounter. That is not naivety. That is wisdom. Compassion does not mean agreeing with everything. It does not mean letting people harm you. It means choosing not to let resentment, coldness, or arrogance become your default response to human imperfection. So how do you practice compassion and empathy in daily life? Start with listening, not waiting for your turn to speak, not preparing a defense. Listening to understand, trying to see what life looks like from the other side of the conversation. There is a saying worth remembering. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Whether or not those exact words are always true, the spirit of them can make you gentler. That rude cashier may be carrying grief. That friend who withdrew may be silently overwhelmed. That colleague who snapped at you may be living through a week you cannot see. And the moment you remember that, judgment softens. Your first instinct becomes less reactive and more humane. Another way to practice compassion is through small acts of kindness, a patient tone, a sincere question, a moment of presence, a kind word when it would be easier to stay indifferent. These things seem small, but often they are not. Small kindnesses can interrupt someone else's invisible suffering, and they also shape who you become. Because every act of empathy strengthens the part of you that refuses to become hard, cruel, or self-absorbed. Compassion also means offering support without superiority, helping without needing to feel above someone, respecting the dignity of every person, even when their life, their wounds, or their decisions look different from your own. The Stoic does not ask, "How can I protect myself from caring?" The Stoic asks, "How can I remain wise without losing tenderness?" That is a harder path, but it is a better one. Because when you live with more compassion, you do not just improve other people's lives. You reduce your own needless anger. You carry less contempt, and you move through the world with a calmer, cleaner heart. Principle 12. Reflect and review regularly. A person who never pauses to examine their life will repeat themselves without noticing. The same mistakes, the same reactions, the same excuses, the same patterns. And slowly, without meaning to, they become shaped by habits they never chose consciously. That is why reflection matters. It is how you stop drifting. It is how you reclaim authorship over your life. In a world that is always rushing, always distracting, always pulling you outward, the practice of reflection brings you back to yourself. Marcus Aurelius gave us one of the greatest examples of this. In Meditations, he did not write to impress anyone. He wrote to confront himself, to examine his thoughts, his conduct, his duties, and his weaknesses. Even while carrying the burden of empire, he understood that an unexamined inner life leads to disorder, no matter how much external power a person holds. He wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, and that is exactly why reflection matters. Because the life you live outwardly is deeply shaped by what you repeatedly allow inwardly." Seneca also encouraged regular self-examination. He believed that wisdom requires review, that growth requires honesty, that at times we must step back from the stage of life and ask ourselves whether we are living in a way worthy of the role we claim to value. Epictetus offered simple, direct questions for the end of the day. What did I do well? What did I do poorly? What duty did I leave undone? Not to shame yourself, to wake yourself up, because when you reflect with honesty, you begin to see where you are strong, where you are weak, and where your life is drifting out of alignment. So how do you bring this practice into modern life? Make it small. Make it regular. A few quiet minutes before bed can change more than most people realize. Keep a notebook nearby. Each night, write down 3 things. 1 thing you did well, 1 thing you need to improve, and 1 thing you must remember tomorrow. That is enough. 3 lines. But if done honestly, day after day, those lines become a mirror, a record of your patterns, a map of your growth, a warning against self-deception. And as you reflect, be truthful, but not cruel. The purpose is not self-punishment, it is self-correction. You do not need to attack yourself for being imperfect. You need to see yourself clearly enough to become better. Reflection is not about becoming obsessed with every flaw. It is about making sure you do not sleepwalk through your own life. Because when you review your day, you start noticing what triggers you, what weakens you, what strengthens you, and what kind of person you are slowly becoming. That awareness changes the future. A reviewed day becomes a wiser day, and a reviewed life becomes a more intentional one. So make reflection a discipline, not because it feels profound, but because it keeps you awake. It keeps your values visible. It keeps your character under your own supervision. And in a world full of noise, that kind of inner clarity is a rare form of strength. These 12 principles are not meant to be admired from a distance. They are meant to be lived, used in traffic, in conflict, in loss, in temptation, in fear, in love, in routine, and in the quiet decisions that shape a life. They are not just ancient ideas, they are tools for modern chaos. Tools to help you suffer less needlessly, choose more wisely, stand more firmly, and live with greater peace, clarity, and character. And remember this: you do not need to master all 12 principles at once. You only need to begin. Choose one, just one, and practice it tomorrow morning. That is enough to start changing the direction of a life. Because transformation rarely begins with one dramatic moment. It usually begins with one honest decision, repeated until it becomes part of who you are. If this video spoke to you, subscribe to Stoic Ocean and turn on the notification bell. And in the comments, tell me which principles stayed with you most. Share this video with someone who may need it. Sometimes the right idea at the right moment can reach deeper than we ever expect. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for being part of this journey. Until next time, do not live for applause. Live in alignment with what is true. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.